Good afternoon here from George Sparky Anderson Field as we have a Father's Day special here on Sunday afternoon as we have the Arroyo Seco Saints facing off versus the Conejo Oaks for the first time in this summer in the 2025 California Collegiate League. I'm joined alongside Sammy Fawn. I'm Judo Kanyas, and we got a good one here in store.
Yeah, certainly a good one today. The Conejo Oaks 5-2 on the season. Arroyo Seco Saints 4-2. They did have their 4-game winning streak snapped by the Orange County Riptide just recently, but certainly set to be a good match. And also with that being said, they're still technically in progress of a game against the Santa Barbara Foresters. The Saints hosted the Foresters, and the game was delayed in the 7th inning due to the lights going off at Jackie Robinson Memorial Field, but talked with the Saints staff, and they said that they're planning to resume that game the next time the teams play each other. But certainly a good game between the Conejo Oaks and the Arroyo Seco Saints. The Conejo Oaks coming off a win yesterday against the MLB Academy Barons. It was a 6-3 victory, and we're excited to see what happens here.
Yeah, totally correct. And the Oaks will get us started first with Daniel Morg on the mound. But like you just said, the Oaks bounced back in a big way after taking a 4-2 defeat in their first road game versus the MLB Barons. And it was, like you mentioned, the Arroyo Seco Saints losing 9-4 to the Orange County Riptide, who also gave them their first road loss of the season. So we'll get to this one as we get underway here at George Sparky Anderson Field, and want to wish everyone a happy Father's Day to all those that are listening here on this Sunday afternoon, that we got a matinee for all of you. And so the Oaks getting things started first. That's Daniel Morg on the mound in the baby blues that the Oaks are wearing today for Father's Day. And then at the plate to start things off for the Arroyo Seco Saints is Jack Ryan, who takes a ball low. Jax Ryan, a sophomore currently at Arizona State University, originally from Claremore, Oklahoma. So let's get to this lineup here for the Saints. Starting next up for the Saints is going to be Trotter Enright, the third baseman. Following him, Jacob Freer in second base, and then cleanup right there is Jack Little out in center field. Joey Milto, the right fielder. Lane Harworth, the right fielder. Matthew Manroyd at catcher. As a leadoff walk right there for Jack Ryan as we get things started here. And then finishing up the order for the Arroyo Seco Saints is Levi Madela, and in the 9-hole is Gannon Snyder. So up now is Trotter Enright for the Arroyo Seco Saints. The left-hander.
Yeah, Trotter Enright currently incoming to his sophomore year at Cal State Long Beach. He started in 28 out of his 31 appearances in his freshman year in 2025. He hit .240, drove home 8 runs.
Takes a ball outside for 2, and already a quick mound visit here from Jacob Galloway as he throws it away, and it's a kind of a careless throw right there from Galloway. And yeah, as we mentioned, the first meeting here, it starts a 2-game mini-series between the Arroyo Seco Saints and the Conejo Oaks, as these two teams will face off on Tuesday at 4:30 back here at George Sparky Anderson Field. The Saints today wearing navy jerseys and pinstripe pants. And yeah, the Saints and the Oaks both suffered their first loss on the road of the season. So after a quick mound visit, we're back in action. That's in there for a strike. A slider right there by Morg. Count is 2-1.
Daniel Morg making his first start of the season.
Yeah, Morg we saw. Off goes Ryan. He's going to get there with no concern.
Yeah.
Throw late from Galloway.
Yeah, Jax Ryan just got a great jump right there. You saw Galloway, he was kind of rushed on that low pitch. Made pretty accurate throw, but on a hop to Brady Hewitt at short.
Count is 3-1. Runner now on second base. Enright chops that to first. Johnson gets under. It's going to tag at first, so that gets the first out, but that advances Ryan to third base. So one down. Now brings up Jacob Freer, the second baseman for the Arroyo Seco Saints.
And by the way, that's Nolan Johnson at first base today, not Nate Johnson.
Yeah, Nate Johnson currently dealing with a left shoulder injury. Talked to him just after yesterday's win. That's outside for a ball. And he said, you know, he could instantly feel the discomfort. If you were watching along, but if you didn't, he basically went down in the 7th inning pretty rapid. That's fouled off to the back. And so he is planning to get a checkup on that left shoulder. And it's a big bat that the Oaks are going to miss. Another guy that's on the injury report is Jonathan Smith right now, dealing with a fractured jaw. That's outside again for ball 2. And so the injuries piling up just a little bit for the Oaks to start this season, and those are two guys that were regulars in the starting lineups. That's inside, so count is 3-1 here early for Jacob Freer.
Yeah, and that fractured jaw, that's a big injury right there. It's not just the mouth and the jaw that's affected. It's really, you know, it slows down the mobility too, because you had told me that he said that it was hard for him to walk and run.
And that's a strike there for full count. Yeah, he said it, even just to, I mean, you would think just to even eat is a difficulty. And yeah, he said walking and running still brings him lots of pain. Also twisted his tongue and a few of his teeth moved. Swing and a miss. And there's the first strikeout there for Daniel Morg, as it's now 2 down for the Oaks.
Yeah. Nice pitch sequence by Morg. Yeah, not to mention talking too. That's another one.
So that now brings up Jack Little here, the center fielder, batting .409 on the season, has 9 hits, which is tied for second on the team, and is tied for first with 8 runs. Fouls that off to the right. And so the Oaks will look to fill in those injuries. Like you mentioned, Sammy, Nolan Johnson now playing first base. We saw him at the catcher position on Friday versus the MLB Barons.
He made a great diving play, too, in foul territory.
That's low inside for a ball. Count is even at 1. So the Arroyo Seco Saints right now 4-2 on the season. They are 4-1 at home, 0-1 on the road. They currently stand at 3rd place in the South Division. He takes a strike. 1-2. So the payoff comes here from Morg. Runner on third base is Jax Ryan, who walked and then stole a base. Swing and a miss. And so 2 straight strikeouts for Daniel Morg as he gets out of the inning, leaving just 1 stranded. We head to the bottom of the 1st, 0-0. And we head to the bottom of the first inning as Daniel Morg with two straight strikeouts to end that top of the first inning to get out of a jam. That left Jax Ryan on third base. And so now this brings up the Oaks for the first time today, and it's Tommy Kellinger to get things started, making his third straight start for the Oaks. Has now been the leadoff guy. Takes outside, and you know, we've talked about this guy's range at center field. He's been just a great player when it comes to his defensive abilities. He was 1 for 4 in yesterday's win against the Barons with a run, a single, and a walk.
Yeah, the way he has been playing for the Oaks, I foresee him in the leadoff spot in center field for a long time this season.
Currently batting .250 with 2 runs and 2 hits. 1-1. Kellinger takes a ball low. And so, once again, just a happy Father's Day to all the fathers, whether you are in the stands today or you're listening from home. You know, it's a special day for you, and you get to watch maybe your son play baseball today. Kellinger fouls it off to the back.
Also, a happy Father's Day to all of the coaching staff who are fathers.
Yes.
We know for sure that there are some on the Conejo Oaks, including David Solis' daughter, McKenna Solis, operations director.
Kellinger takes a ball on the outside. It's full count here for the leadoff man, Kellinger. And then following Kellinger on deck is Lucas Daniewicz, who had himself a game, going 3 for 5 yesterday, and then Jacob Galloway getting his second straight start at catcher. 3-2. Kellinger rips that down the left field. It's collected by Ryan, but falls out of his glove, and that's going to be a single right there for Kellinger to get things started.
Nice piece of hitting by Kellinger, and yeah, Jax Ryan, he has great range over there at short. He did everything he could, got to that ball. I mean, I thought that ball was going to go through the left side from the moment it hit the bat, but Ryan made a great play. Just, you know, I mean, Kellinger's speed, that's an easy base for him, but good for him to keep it on the infield nonetheless.
So a leadoff single for Kellinger brings up Lucas Daniewicz. Hits that high into right field. That's going to be Milto, gets under it for the first out. So 1 down here for the Saints as Kellinger stays at first base. Coming up is Jacob Galloway, and then to finish off this order, Brady Hewitt at the 4 spot. Devin Wilkes back to his designated hitter spot at the 5. Tyler Hawley at third base again today. Nolan Johnson, who we just talked about, at first base today. Henry Borhaus out at left field, and Cade Falskin at second base. And that rounds up your Conejo Oaks starting 9. So 1 out, runner on first. Jacob Galloway's turn. Was 1 for 4 yesterday. Takes a strike. A good slider right there by Zachary Erdman, the rising senior at Texas Tech University. Posted a 4.30 ERA in 2025 on 9 appearances with 4 total strikeouts. The 0-1 to Galloway. Galloway takes another strike. Counts now 0-2. And so the Saints wrapping up a good weekend of baseball here. They're on 3-1. It's fouled off to the left. Their only loss this week coming to the MLB Academy Barons on a Friday night loss down at the MLB Youth Academy in Compton, California, where they lost 4-2. It was by far the worst hitting day for the Oaks. Only saw 2 runs on the board, their lowest total in the 2025 season. The 0-2, Galloway hits that high into left center field. Little, I apologize, that's Hayworth that gets under it for the second out. So 2 down here for the Saints, as now brings up Brady Hewitt, and still Kellinger at first.
Yeah, and I think comparatively against the Barons in yesterday's home game, the Oaks, their offense definitely woke up. I mean, on Friday, pretty much after the second inning, their offense was quiet. But you also got to give credit to the Barons bullpen. They did outstanding that game.
Yeah, pitched 7 scoreless innings. Now it's Brady Hewitt, the shortstop. Fouls that off to the right, just goes right over the visitor Saints dugout. Hewitt was 0 for 4 yesterday in their win against the Barons. Had 2 strikeouts, but hitting .250 on the season with 2 runs, 4 hits. Has 1 triple. Has 3 RBIs on the season. So it's 0-1 to Hewitt here. Off goes Kellinger to second, but the ball's going to be fouled off by Hewitt, and Kellinger will retreat back to first base as it's now Hewitt down in the count 0-2. And on your defensive side of things for the Saints, behind the dish is Matthew Manord. At first base, you have Levi Medella. At second base, Jacob Freer. Shortstop, Jax Ryan. And at third and right. Swing and a miss from Hewitt, and that's going to go down as a strikeout. The first for Edmond as they get out of this unscathed. 0-0. We head to the second. And we begin the second inning here at George Sparky Anderson Field in a matinee matchup between the Arroyo Seco Saints and the Conejo Oaks as they're squared at 0. And it's Joey Milto to get things started, the right fielder for the Arroyo Seco Saints out of Bellarmine University, currently a rising senior. He line drive through the infield, and that's going to land for a base hit as it gets right past Brady Hewitt in a diving attempt. And so a leadoff single to get things started here in the second inning.
Nice piece of hitting by Joey Milto, who was recognized as a junior on the Academic All-ASUN team. Also acknowledged on College Sports Communicators Academic All-District team. He was tied for 8th in walks with 38 this past 2025 season.
And Morg checks at first. And so in 7 meetings last year, the Oaks were 5-2 versus the Arroyo Seco Saints. That's inside first strike. 0-1 to Milto. On due up for the Saints is Lane Hayworth, who is the left fielder. Another check at first base. And Lane Hayworth right now batting .318, has 7 hits on the season, 6 runs, 2 doubles, as well as 7 RBIs, which ties him for second on the team. It's a bunt, and it's going to stay fair, and the throw is in time from Galloway to get the out. So a great quick decision right there by Galloway to get the out, but that does advance Milto to second base.
Yeah, Galloway did what he had to do. He saw the ball. He, examined it enough to realize that it was staying fair. Quick thinking by Galloway, and he gets the safe out at first. To your point, yeah, the Saints have a runner in scoring position. A chance to take the lead against the Oaks.
Brings up Matthew Maynard, the catcher for the Arroyo Seco Saints. Batting 143 this season with 1 hit and 3 runs. And so like I mentioned, the Oaks were 5-2, but in fact they did lose the final game of the 2024 season to the Arroyo Seco Saints, 6-5. Saints unfortunately only made it to the opening round of the playoffs, losing 4-1 to the Orange County Riptide. The 0-1 that swung on, foul off to the left. Just goes over the third base umpire's head. 0-2 to Maynard. Due up for the Saints is Levi Medella. So 1 down, runner on second for the Saints. It's outside for a ball. And to get you your defensive lineup here, Nolan Johnson at first base, Cade Falskin at second, Tyler Hawley at third, Brady Hewitt at short, and then in the outfield, Henry Borjas, Tommy Kellinger, Lucas Danuitz from left to right. A swing and a miss from Maynard, and that's going to get the third strikeout there for Morg, as it's 2 down here for the Oaks.
Nice off speed there from Morg, his third strikeout. That ball just tailed inside to the plate and had a lot of English on it.
And so Morg, the last time we saw him was against the Academy Barons on Tuesday. Umpire calls time. And too low. Yeah, the Saints last year finished 4th in the South California Collegiate League at 21-15. Levi Medella fouls that off to the left.
Medella, an incoming redshirt sophomore at Shorter University. He redshirted in 2025. He was also previously at the University of Hawaii at Manoa.
Was ranked as the #1 first baseman in all of Hawaii in 2023, as well as the 9 overall player. 1-1. Swing and a miss from Mandela. Galloway throws to second, and now a pickle situation, and they're going to get the tag. That is Hewitt with the tag, and so 3 outs for the Oaks as we head to the bottom of the second. Still tied at 0. And Devin Wilkes to get things started here in the bottom of the second inning for the Oaks. Oaks was 1 for 4. And the loss on Friday to the Barons had a double in that 9th inning to keep things alive, but it was too little too late for the Oaks. Chops that to Ryan. Ryan's going to get the throw in time for the first out. So 1 pitch, 1 out to begin things here at the bottom of the 2nd inning. Coming up is Tyler Hawley, the third baseman, who's recently now starting to find his rhythm here for the Oaks. He's currently on a 3-game hitting streak, as he was 2 for 3 yesterday with 2 RBIs and a walk. 3 RBIs. So 1 down here for the Barons early. Hawley takes a pitch outside. 1-0.
Yeah, I think Hawley's definitely a guy who deserves to have found his groove. I mean, the way he's been swinging at the bat at the plate, and also put on quite a show at third base yesterday.
And that's a line drive down the middle. That's going to be a base hit for Hawley as Little collects, but so that's now a 4-game hitting streak that Hawley has now continued himself on here this week. He's definitely been one of the hotter players that we've seen all week long for the Oaks. That brings up Nolan Johnson for his 2nd appearance here for the Oaks this season. Getting the start at first base for the first time. He was 0 for 3 in the loss versus the Barons on Friday. Swing and a miss. 0-1. And to finish off the outfield for the Saints, Hayworth out in left, Little, and then Milto manning things down in right field. 0-1 to Johnson. Johnson takes a strike just right over the plate. 0-2 to Johnson now. So the Oaks right now sitting at 2nd place at 5-2 in the California Collegiate South Division. The Foresters just the team ahead at 5-1. And that is outside. And so like you mentioned, Sammy, in the pregame, the game between the Santa Barbara Foresters and the Arroyo and the Saints did not actually get to finish. That game was on June 10th, and they got all the way to the 8th inning, but there is a rule at Jackie Robinson Memorial Stadium that the lights are off at 10 no matter what. Johnson chops that foul.
And it also didn't help that, as we were told, the game was delayed by 15 minutes. It ended up starting at 6:15, which, you know, shouldn't sound like that much of a difference, but I mean, the length that it was going, I mean, 10 o'clock, which, you know, that's a pretty logical time for the most part for ballparks to have their lights shut off.
1-2 to Johnson. Johnson takes the ball high, and so the Saints and Foresters meet not until July 6th at 2 p.m. in Santa Barbara, so they will have to continue that game that, like we said, was at the top of the 8th inning, and the Saints were leading 12-4. Apologize, July 5th. It's a day earlier. That's going to be at Jackie Robinson Memorial Stadium. So they'll continue that at the end or at the start of the day, and then have a doubleheader. Full count to Johnson. 1 down. Johnson gets a good piece of that, rips that up the middle. That's going to get past the infield for a base hit. So Johnson collects his first hit of the summer for the Oaks, and that advances Hawley to second, and the Oaks trying to figure things out here in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, Oaks certainly in business here with back-to-back hits from Hawley and Johnson, and brings up Henry Borjas at the plate. I had a chance to talk to him before and confirmed with him. He does have an older brother who is now a Kingsman, a recent Calu football alumni, Jonathan Borjas. He was a wide receiver on the Kingsman football team.
Borjas takes a strike on the outside corner, and so Borjas, last time we saw him, it's a little bit of time. Played on Wednesday versus the Foresters. Filled in at the 9-hole. He was 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, 2 runs, and a walk. 0-1 to Boras. Runners on first and second. Boras takes a strike. So he's looked at 2 strikes now, and he's down in the count 0-2. Johnson on first, Holly on second. Just 1 down for the Barons. Boras chops that foul to the right side. So stays alive here. Count still at 0-2.
Yeah, Borjas, a guy who can hit. He's got a ton of speed. We saw him as the leadoff hitter in the first game of the season against the Coastal Dodgers.
And the Saints are one of the newly added teams to the California Collegiate League. They were invited in 2017 by the league. That's grounded to second base. Freer going to get under at the time and throw to first. That's going to get the second out. But runners advance. Johnson now at second, Holly at third.
Nice job by Henry Borjas. Does his job. Moves the runners over, and the Oaks with a chance to do some damage right here. They do have 2 outs, so unless a walk or 2 is in order next, it's going to take a hit to bring those runners home.
And so Cade Falskin, the bottom of the order for the Oaks, was 1 for 3 on Friday with a triple, 2 strikeouts. An opportunity to get some Oaks home. 2 down. Falskin takes a ball. Strike. And so in that game yesterday versus the Academy Barons, the Oaks scored runs in their first 2 innings. Collective of 4, and scored 2 runs in the 7th to break away and beat the Barons 6-3. 0-1 to Falskin. Falskin takes the ball outside. And a pretty big leadoff there at second base from Nolan Johnson. As someone that is a catcher himself, he knows what it's like to see runners out there, so maybe using some of those defensive skills on the offensive side. 1-1 to Falskin. Falskin checks, but strike. 1-2 with 2 down.
Yeah, and in the game where the Oaks' offense was slow this past Friday at MLB Youth Academy, Falskin did have 1 of 2 RBIs.
So 1-2 to Falskin. Runner on second and third. And they call it a strike 3. So Falskin goes down, and we head to the top of the third as we still squared away at 0 and 2 left stranded for the Oaks. And we start the top of the third, still 0-0 here at George Sparky as that one's driven straight on to Falskin for the first out. Gloves that very nicely, and so 2 pitches, 1 out already, the top of the third inning.
That was a hot shot off the bat of Levi Medella, right into the glove of Falskin.
So now at the bottom of the order here for the Saints, as that's Gannon Snyder, the designated hitter, hitting .286 on this season with 3 runs and 4 hits. So the Saints trying to get something here in the third. So Morg begins his 3rd inning of action, the Thousand Oaks native, currently at Ventura College. 0-1 to Snyder. Swing and a miss. 0-2. So Morg already with 3 strikeouts through the first 2 innings for the Oaks. And that's going to hit Snyder in the foot. He's going to take his walk to first base. And you know, so I mean, it was interesting. I feel like in the first few games we saw, you know, the pitchers really trying to adjust to whether it was the strike zone or the batters, or even just the catcher, and we saw a lot more hit pitches. We've seen that slowly tail back through as we get more games, and it's not as becoming regular.
Yeah, and we've seen the Oaks capitalize when they get hit by pitches, and you know those plays, they make differences in games. Hit by pitches, walks, all those free passes, those are the ones that tend to be the most brutal, honestly.
Goes back to the top of the order with Jax Ryan. Was the leadoff walk to begin this game, and then stole base at second. Was left stranded off 2 straight strikeouts to end that first inning by Morg. So he gets his second chance here. Takes a strike, and that was a off-speed slider right there from Morg. Oh, 2. Swing and a miss. Down goes Ryan, and that's the 4th strikeout there for Morg as it's 2 outs quick for the Oaks.
Morg seems to be making the most of his first start of the summer. Saw him pitch before, as you mentioned, against the Barons last Tuesday.
And it's been the weekend of the pitchers as we saw the swing and a miss. And that throw's not going to get in time. It's going to get past Hewitt. And here off goes Snyder to third. So off an error, Snyder advances 2 whole bases.
Yeah, that throw by Galloway was just too far off the mark as you saw it skip into right center field past both Hewitt and Falskin. And for Gannon Snyder, the way the ball slowly rolled to right center, it was an easy extra base. And we'll see if the Saints capitalize on that.
So 2 down. That's high for a ball. Brings up Trotter Enright, also from Thousand Oaks, California, currently at Cal State Long Beach. Counts even at 1. Enright hits that high into right field. Daniewicz waits for it, gets under it, and gets the 3rd out. So Morg leaves 1 stranded, and we head to the bottom of the 3rd as we still squared at 0. And so we jump into the third inning here as still 0-0 between the Saints and the Oaks. Once again, just a happy Father's Day to all those, whether you're listening or in the stands. From all the Conejo Oaks staff, we wish you a happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all the dads, all the granddads, and everything. Yeah, happy Father's Day.
So it's back to the top of the order for the Oaks as it's Tommy Kellinger, the rising junior at Biola University. Takes a ball upstairs. Has one older brother, Brandon. Played 2 seasons at Allen Hancock College before transferring. Takes a strike. Count even now at 1. During his time at Allen Hancock, he was second team all Western State Conference, as well as a Gold Glove recipient. 1-1. Kellinger rips that into right field. Milto gets under it. That's the first out. So that brings up Lucas Daniewicz, who popped out to the right field his first time today.
Yeah, the ball he hit earlier looks like a gap shot right off the bat, but the ball, got caught in the wind a little bit and tailed to right field into the glove of Milto.
Takes a strike. Yeah, we've seen the wind play a factor this weekend on a few guys, especially those outfielders. Just cannot take your eye off the ball until you truly feel it in that glove. Swing and a miss for Daniewicz. So 2 straight strikes as Daniewicz now looks at 0-2. And Daniewicz yesterday had a very productive outing with 3 hits, including a triple, 2 runs, and an RBI. 0-2. Daniewicz pops that high into the infield. Medella gets under it, makes the play, and that's 2 up, 2 down here for the Oaks. As it's Jacob Galloway with 2 outs coming to the plate. And Galloway popped out to left field. It's .364 on the year with 4 hits, 3 runs, and 1 double. Galloway takes inside.
Behind the plate, too, we've seen Galloway make a few throws to second base on stolen bases. Neither of them have been successful, but certainly got a strong arm behind the plate.
Yeah, the one, we also saw a ball just kind of get away from him in the top of the 3rd inning that led to a Snyder taking 2 full bases, but good job by Morg right there to keep him stranded on 3rd base. 2-0 to Galloway, the current Texas A&M Aggie catcher. Galloway takes a ball upstairs.
As
3-0.
As represented on his shin guard, too.
And he's got Galloway, and then also on that right bicep. Galloway takes a strike. Count now at 3-1. Galloway spent his first 2 seasons in Southern California for USC, where he was 2024 Pac-12 All Honors. Also held the longest streak of that 24 season with a 22-game hitting streak. Longest on the team, 3-1. Galloway takes a ball upstairs, and he'll take off those Aggie pieces of gear, and he'll walk to first base.
2-out base runner for the Conejo Oaks. Let's see if they can capitalize on that right here. Brady Hewitt has certainly been a good bat for the Oaks in the lineup, coming through and putting the ball where fielders aren't. We've seen him do that a number of times.
Yeah, slowly trying to just find his rhythm after a 0-4 day yesterday. Grounds at the 3rd, and that's going to hop past Enright, and Galloway goes for 3. Hewitt goes to 2. Both get there safely, and so a double from Brady Hewitt. And the ball just looked to kind of ricochet off the foot of Enright. Had an exit speed of 97 miles per hour, so that ball was coming fast at Enright, and he just could not control that one.
Yeah, that's one of those plays where your glove has to be in the right place right from the get-go, and unfortunately for Enright, ball just skipped right under his glove, hit right off his cleat, it looked like, and just skipped into the air, and the way it deflected into left field, it was an easy 2 bases for both Galloway and Hewitt. You saw Haworth throw it into second, but Hewitt's speed, he was there. Now the Oaks have 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs, and a good hitter at the plate, Devin Wilkes.
Takes a strike. Yeah, Wilkes is the owner of the first home run of the season for the Oaks that he hit in their last Sunday victory versus the San Diego Bombers. An opportunity to get some runs here for the Oaks. 0-1 to Wilkes. Swing and a miss. Now down in the count 0-2. So there was a few times in yesterday's win that the Oaks kind of left guys stranded. In that first inning, they actually had bases loaded and only got out of that inning with just 1 run. 0-2 here to Wilkes. Wilkes looks at a ball. And that was just outside of the zone, according to our track man. 1-2 here to Wilkes. 2 down for the Saints as runners on second and third is Hewitt and Galloway. Wilkes chops that to second. Ryan gets under there. The throw gets by Medella, and that's going to bring home 2 runs. So 2 runs right there for the Oaks, puts them up 2 in the bottom of the 3rd inning as Ryan's throw just gets away from the first baseman, Levi Medella.
Yeah, and that's that chopper that Wilkes hit was basically a carbon copy of his last at-bat. You saw him chop it right up the middle, and he put a lot of pressure on Ryan to make the throw to get him in time. You know, Wilkes, a guy not exactly known for his speed, but he can get down the line, and you saw Ryan have to rush that throw to first base, and you know, the timing of the throw and on the receiving end from Medella, it looked like it was going to be a bang-bang play at first base. I'd say if Medella holds on, that's probably the 3rd out, but ball skipped right under his glove, and Oaks pick up 2 big runs.
And that's why you never take your foot off the gas, Sammy, because things like that can happen. And right there, hey, you know, we've talked about Wilkes. He doesn't look like the fastest guy, but he put on his best Team USA track tryout right there and got to first base in time. So that is going to be a marked an error on Medella, as still scores 2 runs. That brought home Brady Hewitt and Jacob Galloway, bringing up Tyler Hawley, who we've already talked about today, has found a rhythm this week. Swing and a miss for Hawley. 0-1. And so Hawley extended his 3-game hitting streak to a 4-game with a single in the 2nd inning. Still looking for more here. Hawley takes low for a ball.
So time for Erdman to rebound and just do all he can. He has allowed 2 runs. Obviously, he's not getting those back, but you know, it's time for him to bounce back and possibly determine how much further he goes. There is action in the Saints bullpen, though.
Swing and a miss for Hawley. 1-2. And Erdman was a player at Keller High School in Texas for Coach Rob Stramp. Made the All-Star team his senior season. 1-2 to Hawley. Wilkes on first base. Hawley rips that into right field. That's going to drop in time for a base hit. That advances Wilkes to second. And the Oaks are still alive here at the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Hawley 2 for 2 on the day.
And it's got to feel good for him. Somebody who went through a tough slump to start this season, starting 0 for 11 at the play, and that brings up Nolan Johnson, who got his first hit of the season with a single also in that second inning, making his first start at first base today. And he's one of the Oaks with a father that has played some level of professional baseball. It's low for a ball. Kevin Johnson played for the Montreal Expos organization.
As they were called at the time, of course, now they're the Washington Nationals.
1-0 to Johnson. Johnson takes the ball high. So the Oaks aren't done yet. It's 2 outs. Runners on first and second for the Oaks. Wilkes on second. (2-0) to Johnson. Johnson takes a strike just in the upper part of that strike zone. Counts now at 2-1. So like we mentioned earlier, Nate Johnson gonna miss some time. His twin brother with a left shoulder injury. Hoping for a speedy recovery. 2-1. Johnson fouls that to the backstop. Counts now even at 2. And especially as much as Johnson has played, you need to be able to rest and recover with that shoulder injury. As much as he uses it, he's a switch hitter. So those shoulders are the most important part. 2-2. That's in the dirt for ball 3. So count is full as Johnson puts a good at-bat here.
Yeah, he's really making Zach Erdman work, and I must point out that looks like a watch party in the Saints bullpen.
And then it's a no-show in the Oaks. Johnson here with the full count. Runners go. That's high for a ball. So base is now loaded here with 2 outs. And a good at-bat right there from Johnson.
Yeah, really good job by Johnson to make Erdman work. He just continued to fight him off and foul off some tough pitches. It brings up Henry Borjas to the plate.
Yeah, Henry Borjas grounded out his first time in a 4-3.
He's due for something.
He is due for something, certainly. Left fielder today for the Oaks. Borjas pops that into right field. Milto gets under it, and that'll be the 3rd out, but not before the Oaks score 2 as we head into the 4th inning. The Oaks with their first lead of the game. So we are 1/3 through this game here on a Father's Day special here at George Sparky Anderson Field as Daniel Morg begins his 4th inning of action. Gets him with a strike, the off speed. And Morg has put together quite the first 3 innings, Sammy. He has 4 strikeouts on the day. And it's popped up into center field. Kellinger gets under it, makes the play. First time we've said his name in defensive side.
Certainly true, and we saw his range. You saw him run all the way to left center and right center in yesterday's game. Certainly a key instrumental player in the outfield. Hit with his legs for the Oaks.
Yeah, he's been all over the place. Brings up the right-hander Jack Little from Baylor University. Batted .219 this past season with 34 hits. Takes the ball inside. He played for Wichita State in 2023. Swing and a miss. 1-1. And in 2024 did not play due to an injury, so he's had a few injuries. Also missed a month during the 2023 season with an injury. That's hit high on to the infield. Hewitt waits for it, gets the out, and that's 2 down quick for the Oaks.
Up comes Joey Milton, who singled on them, was picked off at second base after he had strayed too far from the bag, and Galloway had fired a strike to second, and Milto was caught in a rundown, and it didn't take Brady Hewitt long to tag him out.
Milto takes the ball outside. Currently at Bellarmine University, a senior. Was first team all-conference in high school in 2021 and 2022 at Roncalli High School. Was a 3-year varsity starter as well as a team captain. 1-0. And that's going to hit Milto in the right shoulder, and he's going to take a walk to first base. So now that is 2 hit pitches for Morg.
We have not seen Morg get punished for a free pass yet by the Saints, and they may have an opportunity here with 2 outs, as was the case for the Oaks in the 3rd inning. They scored both of their runs and got all their base runners with 2 outs.
Brings up Lane Hayworth, takes the strike on the outside part of the zone. Lane Hayworth, currently the left fielder in today's matchup for the Saints. Currently playing at Wichita State University. He is one of 2 players on the Saints that are playing for Wichita State, I should say. Rips that straight into Holly's glove, and that's going to get the 3rd out. As we head to the bottom of the 4th, the Oaks still hold their 2-0 lead. it's Cade Falskin to get things started as the Oaks enter the bottom of the 4th inning with a 2-run lead. They scored 2 in that 3rd inning off a base clearing RBI from Devin Wilkes. It ended up being recorded as an error as the throw from Freer to Medella was messed up.
Also, the Saints have a new pitcher, Liam Thatcher, here from Glendale Community College. Went 5-2 in 2025 with 2 saves.
Falskin takes a ball outside for 2-0. And Falskin, his first time, struck out. And so Zachary Erdman's day is over. Ended with 2 strikeouts, 0 earned runs, and 4 hits.
And if this lead holds, he would be the pitcher of record for the Saints.
Falskin takes the strike. 3-1. And Falskin this past season spent time with Oregon State, did not appear in any games. Swing and a miss for Falskin. Count is now full. Falskin's father played college baseball at Long Beach State. And his 2 brothers, Carson and Cole, who both played college baseball, one at North Carolina State, the other at Chico State.
Safe to say baseball runs in the family.
Falskin takes a ball upstairs, and it's going to be a leadoff walk here at the bottom of the 4th inning. Brings up Tommy Kellinger for the Oaks. And he had a leadoff single in the 1st inning. Flew out to right field his 2nd time. 1 for 2 on the day. Kellinger takes a ball upstairs. (1-0) to Kellinger. Takes a ball inside. And so the Saints entered the collegiate ranks back in 2016, where they competed in both the SoCal Collegiate Baseball League and the Sunset Baseball League. Like I mentioned, they then joined California Collegiate League in 2017. That's in there for a strike. 2-1. So the Saints started off in 2012 as a baseball program. Off goes Falskin. The throw's not in time, so stolen base there from Falskin.
Boy, Falskin just flew all the way to second base right there. You saw him get a good jump, and it was a good throw down to second base by Matthew Maynard, but Falskin just slid right in there. A lot of momentum heading there.
So a stolen base for Falskin. Now puts a runner in scoring position for the Oaks. Swing and a miss. Down goes Kendallinger for the first strikeout here for Thatcher.
And for Cade Falskin, that would be his 2nd stolen base of the season.
Brings up Lucas Daniewicz. 0 for 2 on the day. 1 down for the Saints. Takes a ball outside. So, the beginning of a 2-game series here at George Sparky Anderson Field. The Oaks and the Saints will be back in action on Tuesday, 4:30. 1-0 to Daniewicz. Thatcher steps off. Count remains at 1-0. So yeah, it is the first meeting between these two teams. Matched up 7 times last season. 1-0 to Daniewicz. Chops that to short. Ryan gets under it. Throw is not in time as Medella had to go up and grab that one and had to step his foot off the bag.
Yeah, it was a high throw by Jax Ryan, and it pulled Medella off the bag. That would be an error on Ryan.
So we've seen two errors for the Saints and back-to-back innings. Brings up Jacob Galloway for the third time today. Scored the first of 2 runs in that third inning for the Oaks. Started off with a walk. And then off a double from Tyler Hawley, was taken to third base and then taken home by Devin Wilkes, as well as Brady Hewitt. 1-0 to Galloway. Takes a ball on the outside. So runner on first and second as the Oaks trying to add to this lead here. Already with 2 runs. One to Galloway. Thatcher checks again. So Thatcher played his high school ball at St. Francis. 1-1. It's outside for another ball. 2-1.
Several St. Francis alumni go to Cal Lutheran as well. A lot of Northern California residents come out and play.
Thatcher was also an all-tournament team. That's fouled back by Galloway. All-tournament team at the 2021 World Baseball Games, as well as a 16U National Championship with California Armada. 2-2 to Galloway. Runners on first and second. Galloway takes a slider outside for a ball. So count is full as Galloway puts a good at bat here. Galloway entering his senior season at Texas A&M. Off go the runners. Galloway takes the ball outside and he'll advance to first as it's now a bases loaded here once again for the Oaks.
Golden opportunity for the Oaks to do some major damage against the Saints. They're ahead by 2 already, and see the corners came up for a moment there for the Saints, but Oaks a chance to extend their lead by a lot here.
Well, we've already seen Brady Hewitt with a double today. Was also the second runner to come in. That's fouled high off to the right. So Brady Hewitt gets back on track after not getting a hit in yesterday's win versus the Barons. 0-1 to Hewitt. Bases full of Oaks. Hewitt takes a ball. Count now even at 1. So just 1 out here for the Saints. It's like you mentioned, Sammy, an opportunity for the Saints to add to this lead and potential insurance. Swing and a miss for Hewitt. Counts now 1-2. Hewitt, one of a few players currently at the University of Oregon. As well as right-hand pitcher Alex Umland and right-hand pitcher Gabe Howard, who we have yet to see. Alex Umland made his debut yesterday. That swung on to right field. The ball drops, hits against the wall, and that's going to bring home Falskin. Galloway comes home. Here comes running Galloway. And a base clearing RBI triple. And it's all Oaks here in the 4th inning.
What a job. Great swing, and he went the other way on that fastball. Hit that one right into the gap. And one hop against the wall with great speed on the bases. All 3 runners score. Falskin, Danuitz, and Galloway all have made it a 5-0 game for the Oaks.
So 5-0 here with just 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning. It's back to Devin Wilkes. Takes a ball outside. Wilkes reached on an error in the 3rd inning. He was responsible for bringing in Brady Hewitt and Jacob Galloway in that 3rd inning. That's driven down for a base hit. He wants 2. He's going to bring home Hewitt. He's running for 3. Oh, that ball's going to get past Freer. Just can't control it in a double for Devin Wilkes as the lead is now increased to 6 for the Oaks.
Gutsy base running by Devin Wilkes. You saw Haworth get to that ball in plenty of time, and he made a great throw to second, but it was a tough hop for Jacob Freer to handle. And Wilkes safe at second, and it's now a 6-0 lead for the Conejo Oaks.
So the Oaks have really broken open here in the 4th inning as they've scored 4 runs to increase their lead to 6.
And the Oaks just continuing to show that they are the team to beat and play hard against.
Yeah, the Oaks have now tied their final run total of yesterday's victory against the Barons as they scored 6 runs in 9 innings. Well, the Oaks have 6 runs in 4 innings as it's a quick mound visit to Liam Thatcher. And we'll get back to action right here as that brings up Tyler Hawley, who's had another hot bat today. He's 2 for 2 on the day with 2 singles. And so the Oaks not done yet. So Thatcher going to stay in this game. The rising junior at Glendale Community College. Wilkes at second base. Holly hits that high near the visitor dugout, and Maynard just can't get under that ball. It was a great run attempt. He ran all the way from home plate all the way pretty much to the dugout of the Saints, but just couldn't get there in time. So 0-1 to Holly. And so it's been a successful thus far for the Oaks here on Father's Day at George Sparky Anderson Field. Time is called, ball, and the Oaks bullpen just rolls into the field of play. And like we've said, there's no gates separating either team's bullpens in the actual field of play. So 1 wild pitch. Holly crushes that to left field. Back goes Hayworth. He makes the grab, and a spectacular job by him on that, as he had to run all the way to the fence out in left field to make the grab, but Holly got a great piece of that, as that's now 2 down for the Saints.
Nice piece of hitting by Holly and a great run out there in left field by Lane Haworth then. It's a tricky play for Devin Wilkes at second base because, you know, you don't want to necessarily hold at second and stop yourself from advancing more bases, but, you know, he was sort of caught in between, had to retreat to second, so it's a big second out for the Saints.
Certainly is, as Nolan Johnson fouls that off to the right. And that, with that piece of hitting and Wilkes' gutsy base running, that could have been another run brought in by the Oaks, but score remains at 6-0 here at the bottom of the fourth inning for the Oaks. As they've capitalized in the past 2 innings with runners in scoring position. Here's Nolan Johnson, the 0-1. Johnson takes the ball outside. And so Thatcher comes in and has had a rough start to the day today. 1-1 to Johnson. It's fouled off to the right. Counts now at 1-2. And for Thatcher, he's making his summer debut here for the Saints. Got a mound visit halfway through this inning. Nolan Johnson, 2 outs. Johnson takes the ball low. Count now even at 2. So it's a beautiful 83-degree day here in Thousand Oaks. There's a good chunk of wind going 11 miles per hour to the east. 2-2 to Johnson. That's outside for ball 3. Count is up to full. That's inside for a ball as it almost clips Johnson in the wrist as he's going to take a walk to first. And the Oaks staying alive here. That brings on Henry Borjas.
Borjas, the last man to bat in this inning in the order. And if he gets on and everyone's safe, then the Oaks will have, well, the Oaks at this point will have batted around unless somebody gets picked off or caught stealing. But yeah, Oaks looking to have batted around this inning.
Borjas 0 for 2. Flew out to right field last time. That's high inside. Borjas has to duck outside of the plate to not get hit by that pitch. So Johnson on first, Wilkes on second, 2 outs. 1-0 to Borjas as the Oaks look to add more to the 6-0 lead. That's in there for a strike. Counts now even at 1. One to Borjas. Borjas takes a strike on the corner. So it's 6 runs on 7 hits for the Oaks here at the bottom of the 4th inning. Henry Borjas here at the plate. 1-2. Borjas takes a strike looking, and that'll be the 3rd out as we head to the top of the 5th, but not before the Oaks had 4 more. 6-0. And we head here into the top of the 5th inning as Daniel Morg's day is done after pitching 4 scoreless innings for the Oaks as they lead here 6-0 after a 4-run 4th inning put on by the Oaks. But this is Max Strickland up for his 3rd time this season for the Oaks, and certainly someone that's trying to find his rhythm here early in the season. That's outside for a ball, and in 2 games this season versus the Barons and the Forsters, he has just pitched 1 inning, allowing 9 walks and 3 hits. Still seeking his first strikeout. It's outside for a ball.
Yeah, Strickland so far 0-1 on the season, and his ERA, brace yourself, 60.75.
It is
certainly time for him to rebound here and, as you mentioned, find his rhythm.
And I mean, it's still early in this game, but the Oaks have put together a comfortable lead of 6 runs. And the first time we saw Strickland, it was a tough outing last Saturday versus the Foresters, where he allowed 7 runs. A compilation of hit pitches and walks. 3-0. That's on the corner for a strike. So Daniel Morg had himself the day, though. He did go 4 scoreless with 4 strikeouts, only allowing just 1 hit. So Strickland looking to add some relief. And that gets right over Matthew Maynard's head, and he's going to take a walk to first, and that ball just got very much away from him. And so,
yeah,
a leadoff walk.
Yeah, Strickland just lost the handle on that pitch, just threw it behind Maynard.
And if Maynard did not duck, that ball would have been right in the head of Maynard, so keeping himself safe. That brings up Levi Medella. That's in there for a strike. He's inside part of that strike zone.
Good generous corner for Strickland to get the strike there.
0-1 to Medella. Swing and a miss. And that was really the thing that I think we noticed with Strickland. He just didn't get guys to test his pitches. A lot of his problems were just he just could not control the ball, and it led to a lot of walks. So right there does a good job to get Medella to swing. So count is now 0-2. Checks at first. Maynard gets back in time. We'll reiterate a happy Father's Day to all those grandfathers, fathers. You actually, in fact, saw your dad's play yesterday, Sammy.
I certainly did, yes. It's called Just a Second. It's about, it's actually a sequel on, it's a sequel of the show Beau Jest. And, you know, basically the first one was about Passover and getting together. The second one builds off of that, but also one of the characters comes out in the show and announces that he's gay. So there's a lot of emotion in the show. And my mom played an understudy in the show this past last night, and yesterday there were 2 shows yesterday, and she was an understudy in one of the main characters.
And so the first strikeout there for Strickland, and his 3rd appearance gets Medella looking.
I'd also like to point out that, you know, I left here yesterday at 7 p.m. I got from Thousand Oaks to Westchester in 50 minutes.
Well, he doesn't say how fast he was going. He might have been going 100 miles per hour, but he got there.
I did.
Yeah, 50 minutes is impressive, I have to say. I mean, it takes, I'd say, off goes Maynard. Throw's not going to get there. Time is going to get past Falskin. Lands up in center field. So it's going to be a stolen base there for Maynard. As it's now Gannon Snyder at the plate.
3rd stolen base off of the Oaks today. And Once again, the throw by Galloway skips into center field. If Maynard gets up quicker and realizes sooner, he may have gone to third.
Yeah, and on these throws, the wind just playing a little bit of a factor. So 0-1 to Snyder. That's low for a ball, counting out even at 1. No, just to finish that off, I will say that is very impressive how fast you got to the show in time. I mean, 50 minutes, I will say. It usually takes me an hour to get home, and so I've never had a 50 minutes. But how fast were you really going?
That's a fair question.
1-1 to Snyder. That's in there for a strike. And Snyder didn't like that call. So it's 1-2. Just 1 out for the Oaks. Strickland on the outside for a ball. Counts now at even at 2. So we hope all those fathers and grandfathers are having a great day, watching baseball, kicking your feet up, enjoying, if you are in California, this beautiful sunny day. 2-2 here to Snyder. Strickland steps off. Strickland, the only international player on the Oaks roster this summer, from Queen's Park, Australia. So it's summertime here, but it's wintertime in his homeland. That's Chop to Holly, who collects, can't control the ball, and that's going to be a base hit for Snyder, as Holly just couldn't get a grip of the ball and ends up being a base hit.
Yeah, that's a rarity from Tyler Holly. You saw him pick the ball like he usually does, but he must have not had a good grip on the ball in his glove. But you saw the ball just fall out as he tried to pick it up. So it's an error on Tyler Holly.
So that now puts runner on first and second for the Saints here at the top of the 5th inning. Just 1 out. We're back to the top of the order with Jax Ryan, the shortstop. That's inside for a ball. 1-0. And I mean, that's why you have summer ball, to get your reps, and a guy for like Strickland hasn't played much college ball, and so take any reps that you can. 1-0 to Ryan. It's way inside for a ball. Ryan has to move out of the way to not get hit by that one. Ryan has his pants rolled up, has the high socks on today. Jax Ryan, a sophomore at Arizona State University. 2-0 to Ryan. Fouls that off to the right. So now Strickland getting a mound visit from Galloway. There's a little bit of action in the Oaks bullpen. And so the Saints were still held to just 1 hit here in the 5th inning, but Daniel Morg held the Saints to just 1 hit through 4 innings. Pitched 4 scoreless innings with 4 strikeouts. 2-1, off go the runners. Galloway's throw is not in time. And so a stolen base for both Maynard and Snyder.
For Maynard, that's his second of this inning. And Maynard got a great jump, and once he was taking off, and Snyder saw that, he took off, and now the Saints have 2 runners in scoring position.
So with the swing of the bat by Ryan, the Saints can make things interesting. Swing and a miss. Count is up to being full, and that was a 90-mile-per-hour fastball from Strickland. fastest one we've seen him throw today. So counts full. 1 out. Runner on first and second. And that's inside for a ball. So the bases are now loaded for the Saints, as it's just 1 out here. And so that brings up Trotter Enright, the Thousand Oaks native. So this is a situation that is all too familiar for Strickland when we saw him last Saturday versus the Foresters, where a bases loaded situation ended up to a few runs scored as outside for a ball. And he does a lot of like theatrics after he makes a pitch. 1-0 here to Enright. 0-2 for on the day. Leads the team right now in batting average at .444 with 8 runs and a team best 12 hits. That's outside for a ball. Enright was 1 for 4. Enright was 1 for 4 on the day yesterday in their 9-4 loss to Orange County Riptide with 1 run, 1 walk, and was caught stealing. And so now a mound visit here from Galloway, as well as Oaks pitching coach Scott Radniski.
Yeah, you see Strickland, his velocity is there. He's just not finding the zone consistently. And
that's kind of been the story, Sammy, with Strickland this season. He has the velocity. He's just not able to really find that strike zone. There's no better guy that knows pitchers than Scott Radniski.
Yeah, he was drafted by the Chicago White Sox at just 18 years old out of Simi Valley High School. A left-handed pitcher. He played professional baseball from 1990 to 1993 and then again from 1995 to 2001. He also played for the Dodgers from 96 to 98, St. Louis Cardinals for a couple of seasons, as well as at the time, the Cleveland Indians. Now they're called the Guardians. He played with them in 2001.
That's in there for a strike, 2-1. Yeah, he also, after his playing days, started coaching as a head coach for the Columbus Clippers, as well as, you said, the Cleveland Indians as the bullpen coach. Transitioned to pitching coach in 2011, 2012, and spent time all the way to 2018. That's inside for a ball. And he's been with the Oaks since 2021. 3-1 to Enright. And a swing of the bat can really put things closer for the Saints. Swing and a miss. So full count for Enright. Bases loaded. 1 out for the Oaks. Enright with 5 RBIs on the season. He chops that to second. Falskin's going to get under it, pitches it to Nolan. That's going to get the second out of the inning. But it does score a run as that brings home Matthew Maynard as the Oaks now just lead by 5, 6-1.
Yeah, Saints now on the board, and kind of brings that error by Holly to come back to haunt them, because that would be out number 3 if it weren't for that.
So it's Jacob Freer, the second baseman, 0 for 2 on the day. Runners on second and third. Freer takes the ball inside. 1-0 to Freer. Goes for the bunt. Galloway's throws in time. And he picks off. And he gets the pick off. And so we head to the bottom of the 5th as Strickland just allows 1 run. 6-1 Oaks. We'll be ready. And up comes Cade Falskin as we get the bottom of the 5th inning underway here. The Oaks lead 6-1. It was a 1-run top 5th inning for the Saints, as it was an RBI by Trotter Enright that brought in Matthew Maynard. But the Oaks still with a 5-run lead here at the bottom of the 5th. And it's Liam Thatcher gets his 2nd inning of work underway, and he allowed 4 runs in that 4th inning. It was a base clearing triple by Brady Hewitt that opened things up in this game. 1-1 to Falskin. It's outside for a ball.
Cade Falskin hitless so far, 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk.
It's fouled off to the left. Due up for the Oaks is Tommy Kendelinger. Counts now even at 2. So the Oaks sitting right now at 5-2 on the season. 5-1 here at George Sparky Anderson Field. It's fouled off to the left again. So 2-2 is the count. And if you missed it earlier, we had some injury updates for you guys. Nate Johnson, who exited Friday's game, is dealing with a left shoulder injury. It's inside for a ball. Counts now up to being full. And Jonathan Smith, who is probably going to miss extended time with a fractured jaw that he took in batting practice in Wednesday's match versus the Foresters. And that's low for a ball, and Falskin's going to have the leadoff walk to get things started at the bottom of the 5th inning.
That would be his 2nd consecutive walk. Brings up Tommy Kendlinger at the plate.
And last time he was at first base. He got a stolen base. In second, he was the first run brought in a 4-run 4th inning. And yeah, Jonathan Smith and Nate Johnson as well, our thoughts go out to them as they try to get back onto the field this summer. But I think for Jonathan Smith, it's going to be a process to come back. Talked to him earlier today and said he just even had struggles walking without feeling pain, as well as, running. And then with a jaw, he hurts to eat. Pickoff attempt is not in time. So Falskin slides in safely. The count is 2-0 to Ken Dillinger.
Also the Saints with now Jack Little at first base.
Yeah, we saw a few mishaps happen at first base for Levi Medella. Ended up costing them a run. 3-0 to Ken Dillinger. Takes a strike on the upper part of the strike zone. And a gift here from the home plate umpire with the spotting, but 3-1 to Ken Dillinger. Oaks leading 6-1 here. That's low for a ball, so Ken Dillinger will get on base for the second time today, but this time via a walk. Bringing up Lucas Danuitz.
Back-to-back walks to start this bottom of the 5th inning for the Conejo Oaks, and now the guy Danuitz, who had a killer day at the plate yesterday against the MLB Academy Barons.
Yeah, had a triple of his own. That's a line drive past the shortstop, Ryan. That's going to be a base hit, and that's going to load the bases for the Oaks. As it's now with 0 outs, a big opportunity for the Oaks to add to this lead, and the man that's has the hot bat today is Brady Hewitt. Had the base clearing triple. And I'm sorry, this is Jacob Galloway. I apologize. I got confused by Brady Hewitt just running all the way to home plate. No, it's Jacob Galloway right now.
It's easy for that to happen when on-deck batter runs out to get the bat. Galloway has walked a couple of times and has also flown out.
He scored 2 of the 6 runs here today. That's in the dirt for a ball. And so the Oaks with a real opportunity to break things open, already with a 6-1 lead at the bottom of the 5th inning.
Gotta say, I'm surprised to see Thatcher still in there.
Yeah, Thatcher gave up 4 runs in that 4th inning. So Galloway currently working on a 3-game hitting streak entering this game today. He's now kind of found his role at catcher. Seen a lot of starts this week outside of one. Hits that high down the left field line. That's going to drop out for a foul. So count is now 2-1 for Galloway. So with bases loaded, 0 outs, Galloway drives that into center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. That's going to bring home Falskin. Here comes Ken Dillinger, and that's going to score 2 more on an 2 RBI single from Galloway as the Oaks now increase their lead to 8-1.
Really good piece of hitting by Galloway. Launches the ball right over the head of Jacob Freer, and easily 2 runs with the speeds of Falskin and Kenlinger and Danuitz to third. It's now 8-1 Oaks.
So the Oaks offense is on a tear in these past 3 innings as they've scored 2 runs in the 3rd, 4 in the 4th, and a swing and a miss from Hewitt as he now comes up for the 3rd time today. He's 2 for 3 with 2 hits One of those being that base clearing triple. So, as the Oaks lead 7. Opportunity to add more. Still 0 outs here for the Saints in the bottom of the 5th inning. And it's been a real struggle for Liam Thatcher, who's making his California Collegiate Summer League debut. Hewitt chops that foul off to the left. So yeah, like you mentioned, there's some action in the Saints bullpen right now. So we'll see how long Thatcher has. But it's 1-2 to Hewitt. And a pitch that just gets away from Thatcher. Hewitt have to duck for that one, so counts now even at 2. So Hewitt, who came into this game, it was 0 for 4 yesterday. Completely different type of player we're seeing today. He chops that to the shortstop, Ryan. Ryan's throw's going to get in time, but that's going to score Lucas Daniewicz, and that's going to add another run to the board for the Oaks as it's now 9-1.
And that is Hewitt's 4th RBI of the game.
He has now been accountable for 5 runs in this game. So now a mound visit here for the Saints. And we'll see what happens here, but I'd have to imagine they are going to make a change. It's now been 7 runs that Thatcher has given up in just 2 innings. And so there is a call to the bullpen, and Thatcher's day is going to be over. And we'll take a quick break as there's a pitching change. But the Oaks ahead 9-1 here at the bottom of the 5th inning on a Father's Day special here for the California Collegiate Summer League. And so Liam Thatcher's day is over, and it's now Chris Hernandez-Vides as he comes here in the bottom of the 5th inning as the Oaks have added 3 more to their lead. It's now 9-1. Wilkes chops at the first pitch. That's collected by Freer, gets the throw in time. And now it's 2 down. So the Yokes have really come alive in these last 3 innings, scoring 2 in the third, 4 in the fourth, and now 3 here in the fifth, and that brings up Tyler Hawley.
Yeah, 2 productive outs here for the Oaks in this inning. It's 9-1 they lead.
So it was Jacob Galloway that got things started in this inning with a 2-run RBI single. That's on the outside corner for a strike. So 0-1 to Hawley. And then it was a ground out RBI from Brady Hewitt that brought in Lucas Danuwitz. It's outside for a ball. So 9-1. This is now the biggest lead we have seen this week from the Oaks. Their highest run total this week was 10 runs versus the Barons in their Tuesday win, 10-5. Oaks just 1 run away from tying that. 9-1 here, Oaks. 1-2 to Hawley. Fouls that off to the right. And Chris Hernandez-Vidas, currently at Azusa Pacific University, a senior. The left-hander pitched 6 innings, posted a 12.79 ERA. Hawley rips that into left field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Brings home Galloway. And that is double-digit runs as the Oaks now lead 10-1.
And Tyler Hawley with his 3rd hit of this game. That would be his first RBI.
Had an exit speed there off the bat at 99 miles per hour. So Hawley gets his 3rd hit of the day and cashes in. It's outside for a ball. Brings up Nolan Johnson now. Walked his last 2 times at the plate. Got his first hit this summer on a single in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Johnson takes a strike. See, shakes his head, and he would be right. That was just a tad north of the strike zone, but 1-1 to Johnson. Outside for another ball. 2-1. And so we have seen a dominant Oaks team today, as they have 10 runs off 10 hits in the bottom of the 5th. That's fouled off to the right. Just overhead of the Saints dugout. Johnson getting his first work in the infield, playing first base today. Was behind the dish in Friday's game. That's upstairs for a ball. It's now a full count to Johnson. Hawley at first base. 2 down for the Saints. Goes Hawley. Johnson chops that to Ryan at short. Collects, fires to first, and that gets in time for the 3rd out. But not before the Oaks add 4 more, as they lead 10-1 as we head to the 6th inning. And a happy Father's Day to all. We begin the 6th inning as Max Strickland's day is over just after 1 inning, and that brings on Damon Villa, the right-handed pitcher at the University of California, UCLA. It's a tough word to say as a USC student, but
I get that.
the Bruin nonetheless. He has now just made 1 appearance and 2 innings pitched versus the Forsters. About 4 hits, 2 walks, faced 11 batters. Did not get a strikeout. But right now he's working with a 10-1 lead as the Oaks exploded with another 4-run 5th inning. That was their 2nd straight inning of 4 runs. That's outside for a ball. Villa now returning for his 2nd season with the Conejo Oaks. Spent the 2024 with the championship team here at George Sparky Anderson Field. Pitched in 9 games. That's grounded foul. So 1-2 here to Jacob Freer. As this inning ended with Gannon Snyder getting picked off at 3rd base. Great play by Jacob Galloway.
2nd runner that he's picked off today.
Yeah, we've seen a few balls get away from him, but he's still making an impact behind the dish. The count is even at 2. Freer grounds that to Falskin. It's going to get there, the throw in time to Johnson, and 1 down.
Nice job by Falskin there to take his time after fielding that ball, realizes how much time he has. Gets the first out, takes that tough hop too.
So brings up Jack Little for the Saints. Little is 0 for 2 on the day. His father, Mark, played professional baseball for 5 years for quite a few teams. Now, I did a little research, and get this. His father was traded in August 9th, 1998, in a trade that he was added to. He was sent to the Cardinals. He was originally drafted by the Texas Rangers. And 2 of the players that he was traded for was Darren Oliver and Fernando Tatis's father back in 1998.
Fernando Tatis Sr., a guy who hit 2 grand slams against the Dodgers in 1 inning, the only player to do that.
And that's a line drive down the 3rd base line, and that's going to get in for a double, a stand-up double there for Jack Little, as just the 2nd hit on the day for the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints' offense has been kept rather quiet. They did score 1 run in the 5th inning. That was unearned. A couple of walks and an error, and then an RBI groundout led to that. But Saints, with a 1-out double, a chance to do some damage here with Joey Milto at the dish.
Villa gets that in for a strike. 0-1. That brings up Joey Milto, who is 1 for 1 on the day. But he was caught in a pickle in that 2nd inning. Ended up being the 3rd out to end that inning. It's in there for strike 2. He was hit by a pitch in his right shoulder in the 4th inning by Daniel Morg, who once again had a very productive outing. Went 4 scoreless innings, just allowing 1 hit. And the Oaks lead 10-1. It's outside for a ball. So Villa spent his freshman season at Oxnard College and then his sophomore season at Moore Park, where he made 16 appearances, started in 4 games, and posted a 2-3 record. 24 strikeouts. That's grounded straight to Johnson. He's going to tag on the base, and that's going to get the 2nd out. So
Well, one thing the Saints have not really done is hit it where the fielders aren't. Aside from that one-out double from Jack Little, Saints have not had a lot of luck on their side, and the bench has not had a lot to cheer about. We've heard some noise from them for sure, but I'd love to see some runs on the board for them.
So Jack Little advances to third. That's fouled off by Haworth. So a good attendance here on Father's Day, as the fans are out on both sides for both the Saints, who aren't a terribly far drive, just, I don't want to say down the road, but over in Pasadena.
Right by the Rose Bowl.
That'd be correct, just playing at Jackie Robinson Memorial Field. One to Haworth. Attempts to bunt. Fouls that back. So now 1-2 to Haworth. Due up is Matthew Maynard for the Saints. As he looks on. Galloway calls time. 1-2. Haworth pops that into center field. Kedlinger gets under it as he moves all the way out of his position close to shallow infield, and that's going to get the third out as Villa leaves one stranded, and we head to the bottom of the sixth, and the Oaks still ahead 10-1. And we begin the bottom of the sixth inning as Henry Borjas gets things started here, and the Oaks have really blown this game open. Sammy, it's now 3 straight innings with multiple runs.
Yeah, the Oaks scored 4 in the 4th and 4 in the 5th, respectively. 8 runs in the last 2 innings, 10 in the last 3.
And that's outside for a ball. And so just looking at the Saints' schedule this year, they have given up the most runs that the Saints have given up this season was in their first game where they lost to the San Diego Waves 12-9. So right now the Oaks with a 9-run lead and leading 10-1.
And conversely, The most runs that the Saints scored was 17 in a 17-4 win against the Philippines baseball group.
Even count to Boras. Fouls that off to the right. And he stays alive here. And for the Oaks, this now ties the most runs they have scored in a game. We mentioned they defeated the Barons on Tuesday 10-5 and now have tied that. Boras rips that high into right field. Back goes Milto. Can't make the grab, but it did go off to the foul. And it was a great attempt out there by the right fielder, Joey Milto. And he had a piece of it and just could not reel it in.
Boy, that was one heck of an effort by Milto. He covered so much ground and came about as close as he could. The ball, you saw it kind of just barely in the webbing of his glove, but he just couldn't hang on. Fortunately for him, he was in foul territory.
That could have been a big play there for Borjas, who on the day is 0 for 3. Gets past the catcher, Matthew Maynard. It's up to a full count.
Yeah, Henry Borjas so far hitless on the day, 0 for 3. He's a guy that the Oaks love to see him on the bases. He can run.
That's outside for ball 4. So Borjas will take his stroll to first base. That brings up Cade Falskin, who has scored and walked in his last 2 plate appearances. He actually got the first run of both the 4th, and the 5th inning. And he definitely can do damage once he's on bases. He was 1 for 3 in Friday's loss. Takes a strike. And Falk's, I have to admit, has filled in nicely in that 9-hole for the Oaks. Just joined the team this week, 0-1. Falskin just check swings that, but it's going to be tipped and not going to get there in time as the throw from Hernandez Vidas gets over to Little, and that's the first out.
Well, Falskin right there, a little oops check swing, but he does end up getting the job done, moving Henry Borjas into scoring position. As we mentioned, he can run, and now he could potentially score with just a single to the outfield.
And those were not Falskin's intentions, as Kendlinger fouls that off to the right. So it's been another strong day of pitching, while also a extremely strong day offensively for the Oaks, but just one run allowed. One just run, I should say, in the 6 innings that the Saints have batted. And if you're just joining us, I'm Judo Kanyas, joined along Sammy Fawn. Hope all of you are having a great Father's Day. 1-1 to Kendlinger. Checks his swing, and they're going to say he went around. 1-2 to Kendlinger. 1 out for the Saints. And so tomorrow the Oaks get some rest after a 3-game stretch. 2 versus the Barons. Swing and a miss. And he goes down and strikes, as that is the first strikeout for Hernandez Vidas.
There's Lucas Danuitz at the plate, who picked up his first hit of this ball game his last time up. He's got Borjas in scoring position. Oaks already with a 9-run lead.
Yeah, it's been quite the barrage for the Oaks here, as they are chasing first place, just one game behind the Santa Barbara Foresters, who they took down in a Wednesday game. It's outside for a ball. Count now even at 1. One to Daniewicz. Fouls it off to the right. Just gets the ball with the end tip of his bat. 1-2. Borjas on second.
And Jacob Galloway waiting on deck. He had picked up 2 RBIs on a single his last time up.
Daniewicz gets a good piece of that, rips that into center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Borjas, he's coming home. And he's going to score the 11th run here as it's an RBI single from Daniewicz, and the Oaks stay hot.
Nice piece of hitting there by Daniewicz. Got that ball right up the middle for a base hit, and with Borjas' speed and how much and how far coming in. Hey, how far coming in the center fielder had to run. That's an easy run for Borjas.
So the lead is now 10 for the Oaks. They've also now set a season high in runs scored with 11, and we still have 3.5 innings of action. It's in the dirt for a ball. 1-0 to Galloway. Daniewicz at first. Galloway takes a strike. Count out even at 1.
Yeah, the Oaks just continuing to be on fire. You saw them re-enter the win column in yesterday's win against the MLB Academy Barons, and hoping to build off another streak.
It's outside for a ball. And so you have to go back to July 23rd in 2024 when the Oaks scored 16 runs versus the Barons. And that's a great piece of hitting right there from Galloway, but it's just going to be a line drive to left field, and that'll wrap this inning up, but not before the Oaks add one more. 11-1 Oaks. We head to the top of the 7th. We enter the last 3 here at George Sparky Anderson Field, as it is now Tate Foxen on the mound. We saw him one time already this season versus the San Diego Bombers, where he had 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, and retired 6 of the 7 batters he saw through 2 innings of work. Now he's here for his second time today, as it's now Matthew Maynard to get things started for the Saints. And he rips that a grounder to Falskin, gets in just in time to throw to Johnson as he bobbles that one for a second, but still gets the out.
What a nice play that was by Cade Falskin. Saw that was a hot shot off the bat of Maynard, but saw Falskin sort of slide and turn around a little bit. Nice recovery. He gets his man at first.
So that now brings up Levi Medella as he swings on his first. He tried to hold that one back, but that did go around. And so, yeah, Tate Foxen pitched in that Sunday game that is, it's now becoming the infamous game here for the Oaks. It's almost kind of like that's low, that's in for a strike.
The statistically lost game.
It's a statistically lost game. It's kind of like the Wilt Chamberlain game where he scored 100. Question if it actually happened. And that's low for a ball. But this game did happen. Tate Foxen did have a productive game, and it was I have to go back, and it was a 10-4 victory for the Oaks. Like we said, it was a planned power outage here at California Lutheran. Subsequently, the Wi-Fi just didn't turn on. We got power, but the Wi-Fi just didn't turn on, messed up our TrackMan system and everything else, so we were not able to record stats. So it's made it a little bit difficult when you try to accurately get the stats for at least the Oaks. The 1-2. High fly ball sent foul off to the left.
Yeah, if only stats get memos about those planned days. I almost wanted to say earlier, moment of silence for the stats from that game.
Well, the one stat that's not on there, but it was a Devin Wilkes home run. It's low for a ball. He got the first one for the Oaks this season, and then it was followed up by Nate Johnson and their win on Tuesday against the Barons. So it was back-to-back home runs that we saw from 2 Oak players. 2-2 to Medella. Grounds that to second. Falskin gets under it. The throw is in time to Johnson. So 2 down for the Oaks, and both plays made by second baseman Cade Falskin.
Yeah, and you saw that ball. Falskin fielded that ball cleanly for the most part, but it did end up in the heel of his glove, so he had to get rid of it urgently. You saw him. He was able to maintain his grip there, and again, a nice recovery. Threw on to first to get Medella.
So 2 batters gone for the Saints, as that now brings up the bottom of the order. Gannon Snyder, designated hitter, who it's low for a ball. He advanced on an error in the 4th inning, and then he was picked off. He's actually been picked off twice today. It's in there for a strike. Two-one to Snyder. Snyder chops that to short. Tyler gets in front of it. The throw is there in time to Johnson. So 3 up, 3 down as we head for the 7th inning stretch here at George Sparky Anderson Field, as the Oaks ahead 11-1. And once again, a happy Father's Day to all. And so the seventh inning stretch is wrapped in. I will say it's the first time that we've heard the seventh inning stretch actually be appropriately put together. Usually it's not a song or anything. We just kind of chill out. Actually, I will say yesterday, and I don't know for anyone that watched, we had a fantastic seventh inning stretch with some kid activities.
Oh, yes.
And it was a fun watch up here from the broadcast booth. But that's Brady Hewitt back to the plate for the Oaks, as he has had himself a day, as he's now 2-4 on the day. Has 4 RBIs, responsible for 5 of the 11 runs scored today, as he fouls that outside of the right field fouled fence. And so 11-1 here, Oaks, as Hewitt is 1-2 count. That's fouled off to the right again.
Nice cut by Brady Hewitt, and Hewitt, the damage he has done today and the production he's got a couple of extra base hits. He's got 4 RBIs on the day.
And he drives that into left field for a base hit, as that's now his 3rd hit on the day, and he continues to stay hot at the plate.
He is swinging a hot bat today. Hot bat in hot weather. And this is by far the best offensive game he has seen so far this season.
Certainly. Well, he's committed to go play at Oregon next season, but he was a monster at Royals High School, where he led his team in batting average, hits, home runs, RBIs, doubles, triples, on-base percentage, and slugging. That's also driven into left field by Zach Moore, but that's going to be collected for the first out. As we saw Zach Moore right there just pinch hit for Devin Wilkes. And now it's another pinch hitter, Jonah Dawson, now stepping in for the third baseman, Tyler Hawley.
Jonah Dawson, an up-and-coming junior at California Lutheran University. Had a fantastic sophomore season, a regular starter for the most part.
Swung on for a strike, 0-1 to Dawson.
Dawson teammates with Lucas Danuwitz.
Yeah, we saw Dawson just a tad. We haven't really seen him at all this weekend, except for just one inning that he pinch hit for Nate Johnson. That was after Nate Johnson went down with the injury in the 7th inning. He was kind of put in a tough situation. I believe it was a 1-2 count, Sammy.
Yep.
In that 7th inning, and he only just appeared in that 1 inning, and then we have not seen him in a starting role all week. But he pops that high into center field as Medela gets under it for the out.
Yeah, Medela and Jack Little earlier switched positions, as Medela is in center field. Little's at first.
Yeah, we saw Mandela struggle with a few plays at first base. Not all his fault. There was a few overthrows by the shortstop Ryan and second baseman Freer. That brings up Nolan Johnson. It's a check at first, but Brady Hewitt gets back safely. So 2 outs for the Saints, as the Oaks still with a 11-1 lead, and they've scored a run in past 4, as Johnson rips that into right field, and it's just going to go foul.
Johnson is 1 for 2 on the day with a single and a couple of walks.
Yeah, Johnson playing a little better. He went 0 for 3 on Friday, but he finally got his first hit at his first at-bat in the 2nd inning. And yeah, like you said, he has 2 walks on the day. And he joined the team this week from the University of Miami, flew in Tuesday night. It's outside for a ball. And so we'll see how long Nate Johnson is out for, but both Nate Johnson and Nolan Johnson got to play together in Friday's loss versus the Barons. It's outside for another ball. Actually, they had two brothers in that matchup. The Barons, Gavin Taylor and Colin Taylor, and Nolan and Nate Johnson. 2-1 to Johnson. Swing and a miss. Counts now even at 2. So if we look ahead to next week for the Oaks, they get things started versus the Saints back here at George Sparky on Tuesday. That's high for a ball. It's now a full count. So they will face off at 4:30 back here versus the Saints. Then another 4:30 start on Wednesday versus the Barons, who they saw 3 times this week and won 2 out of the 3 games. Johnson drives that into center field for a base hit. Hewitt goes to third. And so the Oaks stay alive here at the bottom of the 7th as Johnson gets his 2nd hit of the day.
Nice piece of hitting by Nolan Johnson. He just scorched that ball right up the middle to put runners on 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. It brings up Henry Borjas for the Oaks.
And the Oaks will then go on the road for their 2nd road game of the season, where they will play the Riptide. It's also going to be the latest start. That game starts at 7 p.m. on Friday, so remember to mark your calendars for some Friday night action. Borjas takes a strike. So runners on the corners for the Oaks. And then they finish next weekend with 2 games versus the Barons. That's way inside for a ball. So the Oaks will see the Barons quite a bit next week, as it's another 3-game series next weekend. It's inside again. Almost an identical pitch there from Hernandez Vides, who now enters his 3rd inning of action. He checks at first. And Vides just gave up 1 run in that 6th inning. It's fouled back off the netting behind home plate. Good thing there is netting, because that would have really hit our statistician Colin directly in the face. No, he's saying he would have grabbed it. 2-2. Borjas fouls that one off again.
Well, still a couple innings left to play after this. And the Oaks with a 10-run lead.
Borjas grounds that. The second freer gets to it, tags it. That gets the 3rd out as we head to the top of the 8th, and it still a 11-1 lead for the Conejo Oaks. We'll be right back. And we enter the 8th inning as we return to the top of this order for the Saints. As it's Jax Ryan, who is 0 for 1 on the day with a pair of walks and a strikeout. And Tate Foxen returns for his 2nd inning of action as that one's chopped off to the left towards the Oaks dugout.
And the Saints still with just 2 hits against the Oaks' 13.
Yeah, it's been a dominant performance on both sides of the ball for the Oaks as that one is swung on, grounded to Hewitt. Hewitt's throws going to get past Johnson as now Ryan takes a jog to second base. So an error right there that leads Ryan to second base. And it was a low throw there by Hewitt as Johnson stands at 6'6". He is the 2nd tallest player on this team. We saw the tallest player on this team yesterday. That's upstairs for a ball. That would be Winston Peterson, who stands at 6'8", 250, currently at the University of Pepperdine. And funny enough, post-game, I actually snapped a photo for his family. They asked me to take a photo just randomly, and I can tell you that it is not just him who is tall. It is that whole entire family, including his father.
Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
It really doesn't. Yeah, Peterson just made his debut for the Oaks yesterday. He pitched just about an inning. Joined the Oaks this week. 1-1. That's grounded to Hewitt. Once again, he collects. He fires to first base. That throw is in time this time. And so 1 down for the Oaks, but that advances Ryan.
Well,
to third.
Yeah, with Hewitt's first throw, it wasn't really a question of timing. It was more of a question of accuracy. But that throw was good enough for Nolan Johnson to handle, and Saints have a runner at third with 1 out.
Freer takes a... And now we have a pinch hitter as he whacks that down the right field line, and that's going to get him for a base hit. That was Keon Mosini from Central Arkansas. So his first time at the plate, he gets a single.
Yeah, nice pinch hitting right there, and the Saints punish the Oaks for the mistake from Brady Hewitt. Just their 2nd run of the game, and both of their runs have been unearned.
So the Oaks still lead here 11-2. Yeah, as that was Jax Ryan who came home for the Saints. That's in there for a strike, and I think we mentioned Tate Foxen making his 2nd appearance. He retired all 3 batters he faced in that 7th inning. Has now given up just 1 run as he checks at first. And it is a run, not an earned run for Foxen, as it was an error by Johnson. Checks again. That one is in time, so they get the pickoff right there. And so Foxen went there twice and finally paid off.
Boy, what a move by Tate Foxen, and saw Keon Mosini just completely caught off guard. A slight subtle stumble to get back, but that hair of a second cost him.
And so now it's Jack Little who gets drilled in the left thigh. And you could hear that up from the broadcast booth, and a lot of oohs and ahs from the crowd, but he's going to jog it off as he heads to first base, and so brings up Joey Milto. So now that is the 3rd player for the Saints hit by a pitch today. The first by Foxen, and now there's a conversation from from Aaron Milam, the skipper for the Saints, having a conversation with the umpire. But that was a 96-mile fastball to the thigh of Jake Little. So that one's definitely going to leave a bruise.
And the Saints have now had three runners picked off.
So even now that Jake Little's on base, he's going to have to keep an eye out. So the conversation ends, and we return to action as it's 2 outs for the Oaks, and brings up Joey Milto, the Greenwood, Indiana native, the rising senior at Bellarmine University.
Almost got hit right there. That pitch inside. 1-0. And the Oaks still with a 9-run lead.
And he drives that into right field. That's going to drop for a hit. Danielewicz gets under it, and the throw does not get there to third base. So a base hit there for Joey Milto as the bat's coming a little bit alive in this 8th inning for the Saints.
Nice piece of hitting there by Joey Milto, his 2nd hit of the game. Saints have runners at the corners with 2 outs, and this inning's still going on because of that error.
So now brings up Lane Haworth, the left fielder here for the Saints, who is 0 for 3 on the day. And ground out and a few pop flies. It's outside for a ball. So the Saints now have base runners at the corners as they trail by 9 runs here at in the 8th inning. And Haworth has to duck away from that one. It's going to be inside for a ball. And that was just a hair away from hitting Haworth. Oh, and I do apologize. It is a pinch hitter now, as Johnny Garber, senior at Arizona State. He's pinch hitting for Lane Haworth. One of 2 players playing for Arizona State on this Saints team. Check out first.
Oaks have definitely had some luck with those pickoff moves at first base today. So why not on those pickoff attempts?
Yeah, Fox and Arnie with 1 pickoff. Off goes runners, and that's going to be fouled off. That was Milto who tried to steal second, but now going to have to get back. And off go the kids from the stands to collect the foul ball. Counts now even at 2 for Garber. Swing and a miss. And there is the first strikeout for Tate Foxen as he leaves 2 stranded, but 1 run scored by the Saints. Now has it a 11-2 lead for the Oaks as we head to the bottom of the 8th. And we begin at the bottom of the order for the Conejo Oaks as Cade Falskin will get things started. And there is a pitching change for the Saints. It is now Nolan McCracken out of Arizona State, a rising senior. He's appeared in 2 games this season for the Saints, most recently against the Bombers in a 7-4 win where he pitched 1 inning, had 1 strikeout. That's chopped to shortstop. Ryan gets under the ball, and that throw is in time. That's the first out of the inning.
Nice quick play there by Jax Ryan. Cade Falskin, a very fast runner, so he had to get rid of that ball in a hurry. Nice play all around.
Yeah, seen Falskin steal some bases today. So McCracken now making his 3rd appearance for the Saints this summer, as he did record a save in that 7-4 victory versus the Bombers. Has 5 total strikeouts on the season. He's in there for a strike, as back to the top of the order with Tommy Kendillinger for the Oaks, who is 1 for 4 on the day. That's high for a ball. He started off with a leadoff single. Since then, he has walked, scored a run, flown out. Has 2 strikeouts on the day. 1-1 to Kendillinger. Fouls it off to the right. 1-2. And McCracken played 2 seasons at UCSD, which would be University of California, San Diego, the Spring Big West All-Academic Team, 2023. 1-2. Swing and a miss. So Kendillinger goes down and strikes, and there's the first strikeout for McCracken.
Yeah, nice fastball there from Nolan McCracken. Did not see action in 2024. He did play his freshman and sophomore years at UC San Diego. Also played summer ball for the Madison Mallards of the Northwoods League in Madison, Wisconsin.
And their first strike, and so he is majoring in aerospace engineering. I almost feel like that's a benefit if you're a pitcher, understanding the physics and how things travel. 0-1 to Daniewicz. Takes the ball upstairs. Back in high school, he came from Windsor High School, was first team all-conference and 4A first team, as well as all-state 2021, had a 1.73 ERA. That's outside for a ball as it goes past Matthew Maynard, the catcher. So 2-1 here to Daniewicz. The Oaks leading 11-2. The Saints were able to bring in 1 run off an RBI from Jacob Freer. Daniewicz pops that into center field. Medella gets under that. And that's the 3rd out. As we head to the top of the 9th, one final chance to get back into this game for the Saints. We'll be right back. And we come to the final inning here at George Sparky Anderson as it has been just a dominant day on both sides of the ball for the Oaks as they lead here 11-2. And it's Braden Lowe to get things started in the 9th inning on the mound for the Oaks. He came in as the closer for the Oaks in their 4-2 win versus the Forsters on Wednesday. Or I apologize, a 4-2 win versus the... No, sorry. He did come in on the Wednesday game versus the Forsters. Sorry, we are having trouble with the stats registering online. But they did defeat the Forsters in that one 9-5. And he came in for the last inning of action and retired all 3 batters that he faced. That one's chopped on to left field. Dawson gets under it. The throw is in time as Johnson uses all 6'6" of that height to get the out.
Benefit of being a first baseman, being tall. I like to say I enjoy first base, but I know it's not my best position as someone who's not, impressively tall. Exactly. Second base has always been my love.
I'm pretty sure you would have hops though, Sammy.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't count out the hops. That one's fouled off to the left as Lowe got no strikeouts, but like I said, he retired all 3 batters that he faced in that 9th inning to close out that game. He had 2 strikeouts with 1 ground out. Just outside for a ball. So it's 1-1. As at the plate now for is Levi Medella. And I believe that is now Anthony Thomas behind the dish for the Oaks. So Galloway's day is over, but pretty much wrapping up here as the Oaks lead 11-2. That's in their first strike. Counts now at even at 2. So just about to hit 4 o'clock here. Game going for... It's been 2 hours and 55 minutes, and that's in for a strike as Medella is caught looking, and that's the first strikeout of the game and the 3rd strikeout of this season for Lowe.
Yeah, really nice pitch sequence there from Braden Lowe. Got ahead early and now faces Gannon Snyder. Last hope for the Saints, and it was the 7, 8, 9 batters due up this inning for Arroyo Seco.
And Lowe gets it in there for a strike. 0-1, so just down to 1 final out to the Saints as they trail by 9 here at George Sparky Anderson Field. And it's not like we won't see the Saints for a while. We see them back here on Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. for a Tuesday afternoon action in the California Collegiate League.
And they'll be ready to come out here and play for sure.
1-1. Yeah, we saw when the Oaks played the Barons the first time, they really came out firing, beating the Barons 10-5. And granted, they went on the road. It was their first road game versus the Barons, but completely different game than we saw. The bouts were just not getting working. The Barons had great pitching, and they only scored 2 runs. Now it's down to the even count at 2 for Snyder, as Lowe has retired the last 2 batters, looking to retire his 3rd. And that's in there for strike 3 as Snyder is caught looking, and Lowe finishes this game with back-to-back strikeouts as the Oaks extend to a 2-game winning streak with an 11-2 victory here on Father's Day at George Sparky Anderson Field. And it's a game that ends the Oaks as they come away with just 1 loss this week, Sammy. They win 5 and lose 1 this week. And in a dominant fashion here on Father's Day, as they get things rolling, they scored runs in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th inning, having 2 innings where they scored back-to-back 4 runs. What did you just make of the performance today from the offense?
The Oaks' offense exploded today. You saw especially, really from the 3rd to the 6th inning, 11 runs in the span of 4 innings. And, in the 4th and 5th inning, 4 runs respectively in both of those innings. But I want to talk about Brady Hewitt. 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs, including a bases-clearing triple in the 4th inning. He had quite the day at the plate, and, the bullpen really held up. You saw Daniel Morg throw 4 shutout innings, and the Oaks allowed just a couple of unearned runs, but they held the fort, and Braden Lowe was able to do his thing in the 9th inning and seal the deal for the Oaks. So it was definitely a good win for the Oaks today.
Could have not said anything better. The Oaks now set a season high of runs with 11 here versus the Saints, but they'll be back in action on Tuesday at 4:30 back here at George Sparky Anderson Field. For Sammy Fawn, I'm Jude O'Connors, and the rest of our Conejo Oaks crew, we say thank you and also a happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day here on a Sunday, wherever you may be spending. Remember to kick up and enjoy yourself. But we will be back on